Organization 13 is one of my favorite villain groups in gaming, though admittedly it does come from a very biased standpoint, specifically the viewpoint of replaying Kingdom Hearts 2 multiple times every year. It has such a wide cast of characters, and only like 3 of them don't have personalities. Their ranks would grow by 1 in days, and they would basically get a brand new squad in Kingdom Hearts 3 with what are some of the most balanced super bosses that the series has to offer. I've been wanting to talk about the organization as a whole for a while now, so here we go. But we won't just be talking about the original Organization 13 from Kingdom Hearts 2. We're going to be putting every single member the organization has ever had. For this ranking, I'm going to be specifically looking at writing, character arcs, character design, because I feel like I am much more adequately prepared to discuss those things as compared to their difficulty. It has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that I have not beaten any of the Kingdom Hearts 3 data bosses. Whatever gave you that idea? Number whatever, Vexen. Fuck this bitch. It's this guy. The fairy from the second arc of Sword Art Online, Shao Tucker, and Whooper, who will forever be on my shit list. Now, I know what you're going to ask me right now. Hado, what did Whooper do? He's such a sweet and innocent... That's a story for a different video. We're talking about Vexen right now. This man was the bane of my existence my first time playing through Chains. His back-to-back boss fight is just utterly ridiculous. His lackluster redemption arc in 3 was dumb, and I would have been happier if he just wasn't in 3 at all. We could have just used some leftover replicants or literally any other reason to not have this guy show up in the game. You know, when I'm sad and the cute cat videos aren't hitting the same way, I play the clip where Xlll kills Vexen and just leave it on loop for a couple minutes. It always brightens my mood. Does it even really matter because at least it's not Vexen? Lexaeus. My problem with Lexaeus is that I don't think I know him enough as a person to really say anything about him. He's kind of just shown to be the bronze of the organization. That pure powerhouse of strength that not even Xemnas would be able to win in an arm wrestling competition with. It's the strength, and he was a guard in Radiant Guardian. Those are the only 2 things I know about this man, and it makes me sad. He is the first one of those characters that just doesn't have a personality. Number 18, Zexion. The youngest member of the organization, and honestly the only sympathetic member in my opinion, because he was like, what, 10 when everything happened and he was transformed into a nobody. It's pretty clear that he regrets basically everything that's happened ever since Terranort took over, and it really makes you feel for the kid, if just a little bit. I also really enjoy the fact that his weapon is a book that creates illusions. It's very unconventional and pretty unique compared to most of the other organization members who pretty much just have standard RPG weapons with a few exceptions. Number 17, Terranort. Though Terranort is basically the origin of the organization, he is also just a discount young Xehanort. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that he was wearing Terra's clothes, and you told me he was just Xehanort but in his early 20s, I would believe you. Yes, I know, technically Terra is like 19, but shut up. It's uncanny how much these 2 look alike. Like, honestly, look at them side to side. How are they related? I think they are. Like, the fact that this has never been brought up in the series, and how much young Xehanort just looks like Terra but with silver hair, is mind-boggling. Like, Eric has never, like, sat down and was like, you kind of look like my best friend. There's a conspiracy here, I'm just not sure where. Anyway, the only reason why Terranort is above Zexion is because I can remove Zexion from the story and basically nothing happens. I remove Terranort and there are some massive plot holes that show up. So, yeah, he's 1 spot above. Number 16, Saïx. Saïx is to Xemnas as Ulquiorra is to Aizen, the right-hand man, the guy that Xemnas seems to trust more than anyone else in the organization. Saïx is the one giving out assignments to the other members, showing that Xemnas has an amount of trust in Saïx to order the others around to make sure things get done as he wishes. In Kingdom Hearts 3, we end up finding out that the whole reason he ends up joining the organization is to find this mysterious girl known as Subject X. My problem arises with the fact that it's been 10 or so years and the guy hasn't found a goddamn thing. He gives Xlll so much shit for forgetting why we joined the organization, but like, you couldn't go and look at the computer when Xemnas was taking a nap or something? Number 15, Demyx. Demyx was my first ever rage quit. I remember it so clearly. You see, I do not know what a block button is, and his boss fight in Kingdom Hearts 2 kinda requires them. He's also a much needed change of pace for most of the other org members, since he's a pretty chill, relaxed guy compared to the stern and rather gloomy members. He jokes around with Sora a lot, he even switches sides near the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. His past is still a massive mystery, which allows him to expand as a character as we go further into the series. However, that does also open up the gate to the fact that everyone believes that he is the master of masters. I have gone on record saying that I don't believe this, and I hate this theory so much. So he's staying right here. Number 14, Dark Riku. This probably confuses you. It confuses me too, honestly. However, the issue here is that all of Riku's worst character traits when he was 15, that is Dark Riku, which in a weird way I do like, because you can really see how much Riku has grown as a person between now and then. Not to mention that he is no longer being possessed by Billy Zane. His data fight in KH3 is also really fun. It's how I would imagine Kingdom Hearts 1 if it got a full-blown remake, kind of like the 7 trilogy is right now. I still think his DM is kind of bullshit, but I haven't beaten the boss. Number 13, Xlll. This man just radiates aura. He has a lot of the same problems that Lexaeus had, but the difference here is that Xlll just gives off that energy about him that makes me want to like this guy. Maybe it's just his floating spears or the way he starts his boss battle in 2, but goddamn, does this guy understand the assignment. Makes the second run through Beast Castle worth it, in my opinion. Number 12, Luxord. I want to put Luxord a lot higher on this list, but there is still so much about him that we just don't know. I do think that he'll probably rise in the rankings as we get more information about him in Kingdom Hearts 4 or possibly Missing Link, but to be fair, from what we do know about him, the dude fucks. Luxord's from Unreality. He had been playing Xehanort the entire series and made him think he was from the age of fairy tales. Do you know how clever you have to be in order to put one over Islander Megamind? I love how he uses gambling and a deck of cards to fight. I just love unconventional weapons. It does something for me, truly. Number 11, Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. The OG, the guy who made my childhood great. The man who gave me an unhealthy relationship with pole blades, my Elden Ring character, thanks you, sir. He's up this high kinda just for nostalgia. His character doesn't really get any more development in 3, even though he doesn't really need it, because he's just the bad guy who has a fetish for darkness. He has a pretty good back and forth with Riku, but that's mostly just to show how much Riku has grown over the course of the series since being possessed in him in the first game. Number 10, Marluxia. My man has a scythe. He's also got the rose Sakura petal things going on. I also gotta give him props for having the gall to try to take over the organization, as if he ever stood a chance of taking down Xemnas. His history in the Age of Fairy Tales also just adds so much depth to his character, and I'm honestly really excited to see where his story continues, and I'm dying to see the scene where he finally reunites with Starlitzia. Number 9, Vanitas. Dude, Vanitas is so cool. Yes, I'm still gonna say his name that way. He's really the only character, in my opinion, that would steal candy from a baby just to say he stole the candy. Man doesn't even have a sweet tooth. There's this comic I found on Twitter, and it just perfectly encapsulates his character, in my opinion. Wanting to pick a fight simply because he thinks it will be fun. So more chaos into daily life. This is even incorporated into his fighting style, as he's constantly dipping in and out of the fight, being a sneaky little guy. Vanitas may also be one of the original Darknesses, which, if that ends up being true, adds so much to his character. My guy is a menace to society, and I'm so excited to see what the future brings to him. I love hating him. Number 8, Xemnas. He is without a doubt one of my favorite cult leaders. This guy set up the original organization, filled it with some of the heaviest hitters he could find, some of which would actually end up sticking around until the Keyblade War. What puts him above his Heartless variant is not only his overarching presence in Kingdom Hearts 2, but also his farewell in Kingdom Hearts 3. Ansem is a surprise plot twist, explaining how Riku went down the road to darkness so fast. Xemnas, on the other hand, is there from almost the beginning, and everything he does feels so much more thought out and calculated compared to Ansem. Fighting along Riku is such a highlight, and that freaking laser dome? Freaking peak. All of that to have his final moments in Kingdom Hearts 3, to be this emotionless husk of a person, to be left alone and afraid. It shows such a level of complexity to Xemnas that I can't help but think about this scene randomly. Number 7, Xehanort. The guy who single-handedly ruined everyone's life. I do have the slightest twitch of sympathy towards the guy because, let's be honest, who didn't cry at the end of the first episode of Dark Road? It completely took me off guard and helped me see how Xehanort saw his plan of rebalancing the worlds was the only way to fix the terrible situation that he was trained in, losing everyone he had ever cared about minus one because of a system that had failed so many. The ends justify the means, if you ask Xehanort, and when he decides to entrust the future to Sora, it shows he's willing to be wrong, taking the chance to possibly create something better that he could only have ever thought of. I love that. Number 6, Xigbar. The smugness of this guy, I swear. Xigbar has acted like he is 10 steps ahead of everyone at any given point, and honestly, it feels like he may even be ahead of Nomura, because goddamn, he just manages to make defeat look like he earned it, except he wasn't really trying, since he may have something important to do later, like dinner at Denny's. So many of the biggest plot twists of the series specifically involve this man. He has multiple identities, that Xehanort has been putting his heart into other people. Luxord has secrets he was hiding, him committing mass murder in Radiant Garden. I don't think we talk about that enough, actually. Real fast, before we get into the top 5, or the final 5, if you will, I want to give some honorable mentions. Honorable mention number 1st, Mickey Mouse. He was never an official member of the organization, but goddamn, he wore the cloak and he looked dapper than a mother in that thing. Second honorable mention, number 2, goes to everyone who wore the cloak, as Twitter was taken over by X a year, 2 years ago. Many of us even still wear the cloak, and you guys are the best the organization has to offer. Thank you. Back to the list. Number 5, Young Master Xehanort. Dude, freaking Dark Road did so much for young Xehanort. It is such a wonder of a game, in my opinion. It fleshed out his character so well, while also still giving it room to grow if we ever want to revisit the character for whatever reason. And the hints that he may be in Unreality now, it makes me very curious on if KH3 was the last time we will actually see Xehanort. Plus, I just also want to desperately know what the Master of Masters told him that made him so dead set on finally putting his plans into action. This was Xehanort's crossroad of destiny, that point where he couldn't turn back from what he was about to do, and though I understand the idea of not giving us what he said exactly adds more depth and wonder, because, you can't beat what you're imagining, I am still beyond curious of what he said, and I just desperately want to know. Please, tell me in Kingdom Hearts 4 when we see him in Unreality. Pretty please. Number 4, Roxas. There's honestly not a lot I can say about this guy that hasn't already been said. I definitely understand why everyone fell head over heels in love with him, though. His pure and unfiltered desire to just exist on his own terms and to do as he pleases with his existence is admirable. Following up with the utterly heart crushing scene where, despite giving everything he had, he still wasn't strong enough to beat Sora and prove that he was worthy to exist. It would have been incredibly easy to have Roxas be spiteful in his final moments for him before merging with Sora, but instead, he accepts that Sora is a good other. It speaks volumes of his character that when so many awful things happen to him, he still knows that if he can't have what he wants, he's willing to accept the next best thing, having Sora do what he can't. Number 3, Xlll. One of the best parts of Chains and 2 are Xlll. You're constantly thinking about whose side he's actually on. He has this aura about him that he's playing everyone around him, simultaneously messing with Marluxia and Xemnas, not truly going all out for either side, or showing his true colors until 2, where he's trying to figure out if Sora is truly the person that is the other half of his best friend. While in Days, he takes much more of a leadership role for Roxas and Xion, since they're both uniquely unable to remember their time as somebodies for obvious reasons. He's just a single dad trying to do everything he can for his 2 kids that are also in love with each other, but neither of them know that yet. Xlll, I think, is also the most quotable character in the series. I already talked about his one-liner when he kills Vexen, but there's also, "Don't you know how popular I am?" No one acts as Xlll, but my favorite line for sure is, "What is your problem?" Seriously, hats off to Quentin for the delivery in these lines, simply amazing. Number 2, Xion. This may be a hot take, but I'm willing to say it. Without Xion, there is no 358 over 2 days. She literally makes the game, in my opinion. She's basically the main character, where Xlll is the cool, arrogant one that acts cool like Riku. Roxas is more level-headed like Sora that would burn the world to make sure his friends are okay. Xion is a caring sweetheart that would gladly be the kindling for said fire if it meant her friends were happy and safe. So much of Xion as a character is tied up with her desire to have everyone be happy, even if she isn't around to enjoy it herself. But don't get it confused with the idea that she'll just roll over on her back and take whatever the world gives her. She'll go down fighting. Xlll, "Don't hold back," is one of the most powerful lines in the series, and I refuse to hear otherwise. Number 1, Larxene. Normally, with how much we know about her, I would have had her much lower on the list, but it's the fact that the Larxene that we know is such a cold-hearted woman. However, when you compare her to her somebody, Elena, it's such a night and day difference that I can't help but to be drawn to her. It may also help that she's gorgeous and I have a thing for mean women, but I swear to Kingdom Hearts itself that is not the whole reason, okay? It's also made clear throughout the course of Kingdom Hearts 3 that she has knowledge and memories of the Age of Fairy Tale that she's choosing not to share with Marluxia/Luarium for one reason or another, and it makes me wonder what her endgame is here, because she clearly has some sort of goals and motivations outside of the organization, but she's not really sharing them with anyone. Not to mention, now that Larxene and Marluxia are now back in their somebodies, there's a chance that not only we'll be able to see them in future Kingdom Hearts games, but we'll be able to further explore these characters that we got to meet and appreciate in Union Cross, and even, maybe, see some new updated Keyblades from them, since we knew what Luarium's was, but we never actually saw Elena's. And I think that's really interesting. I'm not sure if I believe that she has the Olympus Keyblade. Most people give her that just because of the lightning aspect. I don't really think it fits her personality, but I'm more than excited to see if she gets that in canon, or if it is something else and totally unique. Just, in my opinion, she's not only the best organization member, but also the best girl in Kingdom Hearts.